Best of r/entitled parents episode 77. Subscribe for edit videos daily. Characters entitled Mom, entitled Brat's OP grandfather backstory. In the summer of 2016 I was going to see my grandfather in Louisiana for a couple of days with my mom, not the entitled mom. So we get to my grandfather's place to find it a complete mess. The rooms were not cleaned and one room smelled like weed. My grandfather is disabled, so we tried our best to clean up the rooms. EM had 4 kids, EB 1, 2, 3 and 4. EM stole a car from my grandfather and was doing drugs at his house without him knowing. The main story. Fast forward a few years and EM is let back into his house with her EBs. I'm just moving in and the first thing EM tells me is an obvious lie, that my disabled grandfather was trying to force her to have sex with him. I knew what she was doing and played it like I felt sorry. A few weeks pass and stuff starts coming up missing. Very expensive knives and easily pawned off items like guns and scopes. I catch her high as a kite one night and tell my grandfather the next morning. She did not like this. She started screaming at me and cursing at me. The only thing I was doing was looking out for my grandfather. When I got tired of the screaming I just said, when you start raising your kids and stop doing drugs, then you can demand respect. I can't believe that you're doing drugs and stealing in front of 4 minors. She went ballistic. EM shot back with, stop talking to me like that. You will respect me and my privacy. It's none of your grandfather's business what I do. Her twin boy EB started stealing from me all the time. Mostly my PS4 controller and charger box. I eventually moved all of my stuff into my grandfather's room and set up all of my games in his spacious bathroom. When Em and one of the EB, her youngest daughter, get home, they realize what I did. EM knows she isn't allowed in my grandfather's room at all. I hear, "Where are you going?" And EM accused me of stealing what was supposed to be her DVD player when I moved my stuff out. She was always using my stuff without permission and trying to break my anime figures because she doesn't like anime and it shouldn't be allowed in this house. I always told her that it's my personal property and you have no right to touch my stuff. Even use my hard-earned batteries for her vibrator. After that she started making up lies about me, trying to get me kicked out of my own grandfather's house. She eventually had enough and got evicted. Taking everything her and her EBs could put their hands on. Even stealing a dog named Teddy that wasn't even bought for them. Her excuse was he has claimed me as his mother and I will raise him. That was the end of EM and her stay. Peas. If anyone has seen Teddy in the Luling, Louisiana area, please PM me. He is a miniature Australian shepherd with one blue eye and one green eye. Thank you. Next. Context. I'm a teenager that works at a multi-floor restaurant. Because it's usually very busy, we only have a kitchen on the first floor, and waiters are generally assigned to a ton of tables. We have waiters and servers. Waiters take the orders of the customers and generally handle most of the upfront contact with them, and servers carry the food, usually up flights of stairs, on a tray to the table that ordered it. I am a server. Meet your stunning cast. Me, random teen female who probably enjoyed this exchange way too much. Karen, entitled lady, probably around 40. Can I speak to the manager? Hairdo. Brenda, assumedly the mother of Karen, around 60-70, reeks of way too much lavender perfume. Steve, my co-worker, a waiter, with a totally awesome looking man bun, not his actual name. Jimmy, my other co-worker, a server, good friend of mine, once again, not his actual name. PD, poor dude. Karen. So I was working a normal Saturday evening shift, and we've hit the dinner rush that usually starts around 5 and runs until 8. This basically means that us servers are running food practically non-stop up staircases, and sometimes have to carry a larger tray with the food for anywhere between 2 and 4 tables. So yeah, it's hectic. Anyways, I'm sent to the second floor with 3 tables orders, and as we aren't really supposed to have the slips of paper with the specific orders out as it's considered unprofessional, I was somewhat struggling to remember which table ordered which burger, who had the nachos, etc. I set my massive tray onto one of the foldable mini tables we carry around when we have a large tray, and I set to work picking up foods and announcing what each one was so that customers could let me know where to set it. I'm in the middle of doing this for a second table when I hear somebody clear their throat loudly. I glance over at them to see a woman Karen waving me over, clearly pissed off at something. I smile at her and say, I'll be over in just a minute, and I get back to work. I finally reached the third table and was starting to help them when I heard that sounds that causes you to just know you're gonna deal with entitled people. Karen, ahem. I nod in her direction and wave shortly to let her know I haven't forgotten her. Karen, ahem. Me, rolling my eyes but keeping up my customer service face and voice. Thanks for your patience this far. I'll help you as soon as I finish here. Karen, I need service over here. Me, okay, I'll only be a minute. Karen rolls her eyes and makes some snide remark to Brenda, who shakes her head at me. I finish serving these really nice customers their food, and they were both pretty loud when thanking me for my awesome service, as they can tell as well as I can what I'm about to deal with. I thank them and one lady mouthed good luck to me. Oh boy. I walk over to their table and put on my best customer service grin. Mind you, as I spoke, I was trying so hard to sound ecstatic to help them that I'm sure I sounded like a Disney princess or something. Me, hello. How may I help you? Karen, there's something extremely wrong with my food. Me, oh, I'm so sorry. What seems to be the issue? Karen points at her completely untouched burger. Karen, this is the issue. Me, I'm sorry, I don't fully understand. Could you possibly elaborate so I can help more? Karen, rolling her eyes. Fine. She cuts her burger in half with a knife, opens it and points out a tiny spot of pink. Karen, does this look medium well to you? For the record, medium well cooked burgers means there is a little pink in it. Me, laughing internally and trying to keep a straight face. Oh, sorry for the confusion. I'm pretty sure that medium well means there is a little pink in it. I understand how. Karen, no, you are wrong, and clearly know nothing about how food is cooked. There should not be any pink whatsoever. I'm not paying for this abomination. PD, honey. Karen, don't interrupt me. At this point I glance at Brenda and PD. Brenda is giving me a death glare for whatever reason, and PD is just sitting there pretty pale and obviously uncomfortable, so I decide to try to end it as soon as possible for his sake. Me, I apologize for any confusion. I'm afraid I don't have my tablet with me, so I can't enter your order, but would you like me to grab your waiter? Karen, is that even a question? Me, okay, do you know what their name is? I can try to find them for you. Karen, no. At this point Brenda finally chimes in, acting all high and mighty. Brenda, oh I didn't catch his name, but I know what he looks like. Me, okay, I can try to work with that. What does he look like? Brenda, well, he is kinda tall and he's not that good looking. I internally roll my eyes. Brenda, smug as hell, oh, right, I remember. He had. Not even kidding. She paused for dramatic effect. She then said the next part like she was disgusted. Brenda, a ponytail. Me, practically wheezing, as I was not expecting that. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Brenda gives a smug grin. Me, okay, I'll grab him for you. So I go and find my co-worker Steve, the only guy on the floor with a man bun, and tell him what's going on. NGL we laughed about it for a minute straight before he went out to deal with them and I ran back to the kitchen to serve more food. Anyways, Steve ended up re-entering her order, this time as a well-done burger, for free. Sadly, I was not the one that ran that order, but the good news is my friend Jimmy got it and told me about it after the rush was over. This isn't word for word in any way because I heard it from about 2 hours after it happened. Jimmy, hi. I have your classic cheeseburger cooked well done. Thanks for your patience. We do apologize for the previous confusion. Karen, PFFT. Jimmy, sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Where would you like me to set this? Karen, you may as well throw it away. I'm not going to eat it. Jimmy, okay, well, the chefs made it for you for free, so would you like me to get you a to-go box? Karen, you teenagers never listen, do you? Jimmy, what? Karen, I said I don't want it. Go throw it away. You get paid to do stuff for customers, right? Jimmy, pretty shocked. Look, I don't want to get in trouble for throwing away food if you suddenly decide you want it, so I'm just gonna leave this here and you can feel free to throw it away if you really don't want it. He walked away, ignoring how pissed off Karen was at that. Anyways, as servers didn't hear from them again, as we were busy and they didn't order anything else. However, I did manage to pass by their table after they left, and they left it a mess. They literally dumped their leftover sodas and alcoholic beverages onto the plates and pulled the lining out of their nacho chip basket. That burger the chefs had remade, it was looking like a horse trampled the food in old McDonald's barn with the bun over here, the meat over there, here a lettuce, there a lettuce, everywhere lettuce, lettuce. The only clean area was where PG sat, and I felt bad for the guy. I mean, he has to constantly deal with Karen, and possibly Brenda too. Oh, and guess what? No tip for the poor waiter. But don't worry, because those nice people at the third table I helped left a 40% tip for the waiter to compensate, and Jimmy and I got this story, so all's well that ends well. TL. Dr. Karen and her mother Brenda Harris, employees of a restaurant, over a burger that was cooked medium well when they ordered a medium well burger. They got the burger remade for free, didn't eat it, and left the table a mess with no tip for the waiter that had to put up with their crap. Thank you. Next. Cast, ED equals entitled dad, CC equals confused child, me equals me, CH equals Chris, CD equals Chris dad. I was at laser tag for one of my friend's party. He is 13 and I am 14, but we met when I was 7, and we have been good friends since. His previous 2 birthday parties were paintball, but he didn't want to do it a third time, so he did laser tag. His dad was there to supervise in case we got out of control. Chris' party also had a feature where after you eat the cake and stuff, you could play missions, but you could play as many missions for a limited amount of time, 2 hours. I don't know how many laser tags have this, but it's really fun. After the time expires you have the option to do it again. About 30 minutes later into our unlimited missions, another party enters. This is where ED and CC enter. After about 10 minutes later, we see EK approach Chris and I. ED, hey, are you the birthday boy of that party? CH, yeah, why? ED, is it okay if my child joins in too? CH, visibly confused, why? ED, I saw that you guys could do unlimited missions, and I want to give CC the best experience. CH, I know, sorry. ED, why not? I promise he will behave. CH, but I don't know him. ED, come on. Make an exception. Me, dude, he said no. ED, shut up OP. CH, don't talk to OP like that. ED, I can talk to him how I like. I'm an adult. CH, no you're not. You're a child in an adult body. ED, what did you say? At this point Chris' dad notices and enter the conversation. CD, what's going on here? ED, your child is verbally assaulting me. CH and me, no we weren't. ED, they're lying. CD, why should I believe you instead of my son and one of his best friend? This silence ED, but not for long. ED, that's it. I'm getting an employee. We see him walk up to an employee and tell them what happened. I'll refer the employee as EO. EO, what's the problem here? ED, they are verbally assaulting me. Me, CH, and CD all give him the it's BS look. Luckily, a bystander witnessed it and told EO what happened, which made EO tell ED to leave. ED was pissed. He screamed at EO for 10 minutes before walking out. That's it, right? No, no, no. 20 minutes later, the cops show up, and who walks through the door? That's right, ED. This man had the fucking nerves to call the cops. He also had the most smug look on his face. The cops ask everyone questions, and after 20 minutes, and even checking the security footage, ED is asked to leave. But he isn't done. Again, he pulls a huge tantrum out of his ass, and refuses to leave. He then threatens to sue the company, and on his way out he screams, I will come back, and you will all be sorry. CC is obviously confused and is told what happened. He was sad, but after that seemed to have a great time. His mom was called, and after the party, she apologized to the staff, us, and everybody there before taking CC home. The employee apologized to us and gave us another 2 hours of unlimited missions, and I can say it was worth it. After that incident, he was apparently banned from laser tag, and I haven't seen him since. Thank you. Next. Hey all, my second story here, and again it's from my job in hospital security. So to set the stage, I wasn't directly involved in this one. I was on dispatch that night, basically answering phones and directing the other guards to where they're needed. Since my post for that duty is right next to the I got to hear everything going on, though. 2 kids, both in the age 9-12 range, were brought into the by the drunk father and stepmom. They were pale to the point of looking grey, very nauseous, and could barely stand up, as the staff work on diagnosing the problem. And like my last story, these kids were obviously in serious enough condition to get to the top of the priority list. Take notes all. If you're waiting in the be glad, cause it means the people ahead of you are probably in worse condition. The father winds up telling the doctor and nurses that they'd been out in a restaurant and the kids found some wrapped candy clearly labeled as CBD, marijuana, for those who don't know, candy, and had asked if they could eat it and he'd said yes. This sped up the diagnosis since they were showing a lot of signs that line up with a bad reaction to drugs/medication. It wasn't long before the doctor determined they needed to be moved to a children's hospital, since the one I work in is small and doesn't have a dedicated pediatric department. Upon hearing this, the dad goes nuts, saying how it's just weed and can't be that bad, and becoming threatening to the staff to the point the police have to get involved and make him wait outside. The kid's mother is called and about a half hour later shows up to sign the paperwork to get the kids transferred, the dad pacing around menacingly outside the whole time, keeping both police and my co-workers busy to make sure he didn't try to bust back in. He's lucky he wasn't arrested. I don't know what was really in that candy, but I hope those kids recovered okay. I also hope that further stories I encounter here with EPs aren't quite so heartbreaking, since these kids were in very obvious need of serious medical attention. Thank you. Next. So this story happened when I was 3-4 and most of the memories are really fuzzy, so I had to ask my mom or my grandma about some of the details. Now for the story. It was my little brother's birthday and my stepdad, but aka my real dad, was coming in from his job in Virginia, so my mom and my little brother were going to spend the day together, which is like our family tradition, so I would go and spend the day and night in my grandparents' house. I was excited to hang out with my grandparents. My mama picked me up around 10 o'clock and we had fun just chilling at the house for a bit. But at 12 o'clock we went to the store to pick up a few lunch items and so I could get my brother a B-day. Now this was like a tradition for us, showing with mama for lunch at Kroger, and it's still something we do now. We walked around and I told her about my pet snake, which she was so scared of but acted like she didn't, and told her about the cool gift I helped mom pick out for my brother. As we turned a corner I saw these really cool dinosaurs toy. You have probably seen them before. There was one left and I asked my mama if I could get that for my brother. She said yes and picked it up. Now nothing bad happened until we got to the checkout. Now it was ungodly busy that day and there were about 7 people behind the cashier. But we just talked about anything my brain could come up with. Note I was very advanced for my age and most people thought I was 5'6" just because of my vocabulary. This will come into play. So suddenly the very overweight woman comes up behind us. I will call her Susan, and his shrieking son who was probably my age. My mama sighed she had really bad social anxiety back then. If for some reason screaming kids would trigger a bit. But you decide to distract yourself by asking me if I was excited for my brother's birthday. As we were talking my mama heard from behind her, "Mommy, dinosaurs." He started kicking and screaming even more. Seeing the dinosaur which I was still holding, Susan looked over to my mama and asked, "Hey, where did you find that?" My mama, being a Southern belle, answered politely and said, "Oh, over near the cookie aisle, but I do think we got the last one there." Susan, "Well, I'm not going to look all over the damn store to find a dinosaur. Could he have hers?" My mama was in pure shock for a minute and replied, I am sorry but no, this is for my grandson." Susan got all red and said, "Well, I'm sure you could find another one. Behind you don't have a screaming 2-year-old with you. It would make him feel so much better if he had a dinosaur." My mama, who's getting a little irritated but didn't want to say anything inappropriate in front of both me and the screaming toddler. We'll see, she's 3. I really don't think she would understand why I am taking from her. This is another important thing to note for the following part. My grandmother is half Cherokee. She has very dark skin, brown eyes and extremely curly hair. and big lips to the point when she was a little girl in the 60s she was bullied and called horrible racial slurs, and her mom was often shamed thinking that she had an affair with a black man, especially since the man she was married to was a white Irishman. At the time I was also pretty tan and had green eyes, though my hair was straight as a stick and had big lips as well. Please note this. Susan stopped pestering us for a little bit and we moved closer to the cashier. The child started screaming more and more, yelling about how he wants a dinosaur. Now I really didn't want him screaming anymore and I could see how stressed out my mama was. Now I don't remember this part. I was told this by my grandmother. I apparently told her to give him the dinosaurs, we could just pick up another one at the toy store or something. My mama was shocked and low-key proud. So she did, and it got him to shut up for a minute. And I swear to God Susan did this out of pure spite. She took the toy and said, "Don't put that in your mouth." That halfling was playing with it. I'm going to have to disinfect this thing when we get home. My mama was pissed, so was the people behind Susan. One even actually said something to her, but my mama couldn't remember what she said. My grandmother quickly got us out of there once we paid. And after about 3 seconds of us being in the car she called my grandfather, and for some reason I remember this clear as day, probably because it was the only time I ever heard her curse in my entire life. Insert my grandpa's name. You're not going to believe what some women said. She called me and, insert my real name, halflings, that racist bitch. Had the nerve to say that in front of her own child. My grandpa, being the moderator of the family, calmed her down. I told her to meet at their favorite restaurant with me, Arby's, and she ran to him about everything. Luckily we did manage to go out again that day to Toys R Us. I got my brother a whole pack of dinosaurs. I don't think I ever saw this woman again, to be honest. I can't remember what she looked like, but thanks for reading. Thank you. Next. This happened last night. It was my brother's birthday, and we spent a few hours at Disneyland to celebrate. When we were ready to go home, we were waiting for the tram, and the drama began. A man was getting into an argument with a worker, who happened to be my brother's friend. We were in the back of the tram, and Karen was in the front, her husband arguing with the worker. He finally gets on after yelling a remark about paying the worker's salary, so he deserves special treatment. There was a group of high schoolers making jokes about the scene, one of which jokingly saying he has a curfew. My brother laughs at his joke and catches Karen's attention. "Karen, do you want a goddamn black eye? Don't laugh at us." My brother went quiet. He was smiling, but he stopped laughing. Another high schooler made a joke directly to the Karen. "Teen, what are you going to do? Take away our salary?" We all laughed. Karen was pissed. It was here that she made the comments that dug her a hole. She noticed a common factor between my siblings, the high schoolers, and I. We're all Hispanic. "Karen, I think you all should shut the hell up. You don't belong here. Go back to Mexico." The tram car falls silent for a moment, and then a loud voice. "High schooler, wow, what a jerk." When we got back to the parking lot, we started unloading from the tram. Karen suddenly pushes one of the high school girls and books it to the lot. They all began yelling things along the lines of, "The jerk pushed her. You have kids, you idiot. Push her again. I dare you." My family and I went home. We were all pretty upset about it. We don't know what happened to the other group, but I doubt it was good. We did see Karen running up the escalator to her car, ditching her husband and her kids. She was on the phone on the tram, and we were wondering if she was on the phone with police. Thank you. Next. Mandatory on mobile. Also, this is a long and crazy story, so buckle up. So just for some context, I am a male, straight, and my friend who is a girl came out as a lesbian a few years back. She moved away while we were in high school and now we attend different universities. We were close friends before she came out and I was one of the first to know. This was the first time I met her girlfriend and it was just after their 1-year anniversary. This was during summer break between our first and second years of college. Cast, Karen the star. Kid, Karen's daughter. A, my friend. Her first initial. D, friends, GF. Me. So me, A, and E were going out for dinner at a pizza place in A's new hometown. We sat in a circular booth in the corner. I was on the right, A in the middle, and D on the left. D got up to go to the bathroom and I was telling A how proud of her I was that she found someone so caring and supportive, as A has always had some bad anxiety growing up. While we were talking, Karen came to talk to us. "Karen, I didn't want to say this with the girl's friend around, but you two are a really cute couple and remind me of when I was starting to date my husband. My daughter agrees with me but she's too shy to come over. I looked over at where she came from. Her daughter looked about 10-11 years old and avoided eye contact. Turning bright red and speaking soft. Actually that girl that left is my girlfriend. My friend here is actually the third wheel if anything. Karen's smile went away and glared at us. Oh. Well, don't do anything to gay. I don't want you to influence my daughter. She walked away very quickly and then Dee comes back. I guess it was obvious we were in shock cause she asked us what was wrong. We explained what happened and Dee responded by kissing A on the cheek and told her not to worry. I could see Karen turn bright red and staring at us. Our pizza eventually arrived and I asked the basic questions like where they met, who asked who out, etc. Karen must have had enough because she came over and started talking to us. Karen, I thought I told you not to do that in front of my daughter. Me, trying to stay calm, sorry if we're too loud. However, we would like it if you let us enjoy our pizza and respect our privacy. Karen, I don't care about you. I don't want my daughter to end up like these two. D. Lady, I'm sorry if we offended you but we just want to enjoy our dinner. Karen, don't talk back to me you dyke. This made us all look at each other in shock. Me, why did you come over here to talk to us if you're just going to be a jerk? Do you not have anything better to do? Karen, I told you I don't care about you. I'm talking to these girls so my daughter doesn't see and turn out like them. Me, straight BTW. Actually my boyfriend is running late and I don't want him to be bothered when he gets here. Please leave us alone. Karen's kid is turning bright red as well as A since she is very non-confrontational. Karen herself looks shocked as she didn't expect that to happen. D. Adding on to the chaos. Then after dinner we're all going to have a big gay sex party. No one anticipated that D was going to say that, which made me and A laugh. But she kept going off on our little party and how much fun it was going to be and then proceeded to tell A all the things she was going to do to her when they got home that night. During the middle of Dee's very graphic description, Karen left and grabbed her kid and they walked out of the restaurant. The whole confrontation only lasted a few minutes and it was glorious watching Karen's face turn more and more red. Flash forward to present, and A and D have been dating each other for around 4 years now and we've all graduated college and D recently proposed. Congrats guys and I hope you the best. TL. Dr. Karen gets upset when I, male, am actually the third wheel and female, friend's girlfriend isn't. Which makes her go on a homophobic rant. Edit. Spelling and grammar.